can we live life without causing disturbance to anyone? Number one. And number two, can we live life whereby we are not disturbed by anyone? Yasmān nodvijate loko, lokān nodvijate chayah. Then harṣhāmarṣha-bhayodvegair. So, can we live free of excitement of any kind? Whenever something seemingly good happens, without being too excited about it, or whenever something seemingly bad happens, again without being excited about it, and then without any impatience, being very calm and poised about going about things, and then no bhaya, no fear, and then no anxiety. So this covers the whole ground actually. That's the beauty of Gita, that every single verse, if we actually go deep into the verse, it can cover the whole Gita. So each verse is the Gita, and the whole Gita is therefore um, revealed through every single verse in a different way. So what this practically means is, of course, that we cannot function on the platform of the ego, because the platform of the ego or the mind is always of the nature of comparison, division, and therefore envy, pride, and all the other qualities that come with it. So we cannot make it some kind of a behavioral change, that telling oneself that I will not be disturbed by anyone, or that I will not disturb others. That won't work, because um, this is what many management type courses and self-development courses, they focus on such behavioral changes. They talk about various aspects of how to communicate, and it's all treating the symptoms: how to communicate, how to speak, how to not be disturbed. Even things such as, which is a little deeper but still not going to the depth, is focusing on breath and calming the breath, which has an effect, but still it's not going to the root cause. So the point of this verse, what Krishna says in the 12th chapter, is of course not to change the behavior outwardly, but to change within, open the heart, so that these behaviors manifest on their own. And what that means is to recognize the falsity of the ego, both here and anywhere else. So before that, he gives the vision of, that's why the cosmic form, or what's called the Vishwarupa or Virat Rupa. And what is revealed in this is that everything is part of the one cosmic being. All the bodies, all the elements of nature, time itself, and all events, everything is happening within the cosmic being. There is one cosmic mind and one cosmic being which manifests everything. So what it means is that everything comes and goes from the same ground. So there is nothing that we can call our own. The body is made of 5 elements, and the same 5 elements are recycling over and over, becoming upon death back to earth, back to fire, ash, water, air, and space, and then regenerating into plants and into insects and into humans. So at a bodily level, there is always only regeneration. There is nothing new. So we are just product. The body is just a collection of food, basically. and therefore there's nothing to call it ours. And the mind is similarly a collection of memories and knowledge acquired. So there is no memory that I can call my own, because everything has been given through both genetic inheritance as well as through environmental conditioning. So when a person or when a baby is born, there is a certain genetic memory the baby comes with. The baby didn't develop anything, it just was given through the genetic memory, and then exposed to various conditioning through parents, and then through school, and then through friends, and then through work and colleagues and relations. So all of this is contributing to the knowledge base, to the memory, and which in turn produces experiences. And therefore there is no memory, no knowledge that can be called one's own either. And therefore the ego, which is the idea that I am this body and I am this mind and I am the thoughts, is completely fictitious, as clearly seen. There is, of course, every moment the rising of the I, the sense that there is an entity here, and that's only a provisional self necessary to function. So this Prakriti has put in this sense of I in order to go about the activity of living. So one needs a sense of I to simply survive in this world, to transact, to interact with other people, to eat, and to take care of one's own survival and all the rest. But it's a provisional I, and it's not a abiding I. It constantly changes its form too, depending on the circumstances. And therefore, just as the body keeps on changing, the mind keeps on changing, the I also, the ahankara, the ego, keeps on changing its form. So to recognize all this and to see that there is the only constant factor along all this is the awareness that is always present, which is what we call the self or the supreme self, Paramatma, whatever word we use. So when we recognize this, and therefore we see that everyone and everything is made of the same stuff, and everyone and everything is animated by the same awareness, and therefore the only way to live intelligently is to recognize that there is no real separation in this world. Everything is a collection of the same elements, it's coming from the same source, it's in the same source, and it goes back to the same source. And therefore, the only intelligent activity is to be of service so that the body and the mind and the ego can be engaged in serving other bodies and minds and other aspects of nature. And by this attitude of service, the ego is completely dovetailed into a true sense of devotion, not devotion to just some sectarian identification of what one considers God, but to see God in everything and everyone, and therefore seeing everything and everyone as God's energy and engaging in service, thereby not being caught in any kind of comparison, any kind of envy, any kind of pride, recognizing that whatever we are doing is coming from the same source, and whatever everyone is doing is coming from the same source. So we don't have to praise anyone, we don't have to similarly criticize anyone. We don't have to be moved by praise of others. We don't have to be moved by criticism of others. So to this, to actualize this is that verse: to not be disturbed, to not disturb anyone. Therefore, so even if we praise someone, we are disturbing them in a way. So not praise anyone, but praise God for everything. Then that connects them to the source, to recognize, to if someone is singing well, for instance, or anything they are able to do, to, to make them recognize that it's coming from the same cosmic intelligence, the Supreme Being, that's making them do whatever they are able to do. And therefore, neither flatter anyone nor criticize anyone, and not disturb anyone. And then the other way around is harder, perhaps, where others who are caught in the net of Maya, net of ego, when they criticize, how to take it is the other art of this whole way of living, that we simply see every action as an expression of the divine. So the divine is made of three gunas: sattva, rajas, and tamas. So all three gunas, the one that is in poise and calm, sattva, the one that is in passion like rajas, and the one that is in ignorance or in laziness or in negativity is tamas. All these are expressions of the same divine being. And they are all part of this creation in order for this whole drama to go. So when someone is coming up with negativity or coming up with criticism or unfair, like unjust behavior, whatever we call it, we simply see that this is part of the play. There is no individual there, but what is operating there is the same intelligence that for whatever reason is doing this, and whatever he is doing at this moment is exactly what I am meant to receive, because there is always a perfect arrangement in which this whole Leela unfolds. What appears as very bad can have great positive effects in the long run, and more importantly, it can help us turn within, and it can help get rid of any false ego we may have. So, and it can help us surrender more easily or more in a more heartfelt way. So any unjust, unfair activity or speech by others can also be of great help. And therefore, to see that it is exactly the right thing that I'm meant to receive at this moment and accept it calmly and not be disturbed by it is a great tapas, great austerity. So to have both, and then therefore be free of any excitement, no matter whether there is great news or whether there is bad news in any realm, personally or world events or whatever, and no impatience, and therefore no fear. When there is no identification or attachment to the bodily platform, then fear goes. That's the main thing. And anxiety goes. So this is how it can be actualized. It is a living sadhana, day-to-day living, when we are at work, when we are in house, when we are dealing with people. That's when, as they say, the rubber meets the road, and we have to be intensely alert and aware in order to be able to not slip out of this space of not being disturbed ourselves and not causing disturbance to others, and be at least aware of it. We don't have to, we are just Am I, if I'm disturbed by anything, am I at least aware of it? That's the first step, is am I, at the moment I'm disturbed, if I'm aware of it, we are already awakening, we are living consciously. If we go about not even recognizing that we are disturbed, or not even recognizing that we are disturbing others, then we are sleepwalking through life. The first step to waking up is to recognize that I am disturbing someone by this word or action, or in turn I am disturbed by this event or this action or this person. And when that awareness, alertness is there, then we can, through that alertness, go back to the source, and by cause less and less disturbance and be less and less disturbed.